Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features Longshot, issue number 6. It's the finale of the 6-issue limited series, and it is 41 pages of story and art beneath this excellent cover. I think this is the best cover from the series. Really like the pose there on a menacing, maniacal Mojo looking down at Spiral versus Longshot. I think it's really well drawn. And as ever, Arthur Adams inks his own pencils. There's a very specific date for this, which is the 13th of September 1985. And the information is available as regards the colorist. It's Christy Shield, who is also the interior colorist. Really like the rendering on the shadows and the spotting of blacks there on Mojo's bulky form and face. I think it's really well done. And I like the cover corner box, which doesn't feature Puppy anymore, in simply a close-up on Longshot's glowing eye, which is when his heart and motives are pure. He taps into that look power of his. Okay, so let's open this one up to the splash page. As I said, there's 41 pages of story and art, so there's a lot to get through. The title of this final issue is A Snake Coils, and the creative team is here. And Nocenti and Arthur Adams are credited as co-creators. Nocenti's the writer, Arthur Adams, of course, the penciler. Whilce Portacio is on inks, and there is an ink assist from Scott Williams as well in this issue, which of course bespeaks the fact that there probably was some pressure to get this one off to the printers. Joe Rosen is on letters and Christy Shield on colors. Now this comic comes out, or rather it's cover dated February 1986, but it would have been on sale in December 1985, and readers and fans of Arthur Adams had already had by that point New Mutants Special Edition number 1, where the New Mutants are abducted to Asgard, as well as the sequel, which was X-Men or Uncanny X-Men Annual 9. So there was a lot of Arthur Adams goodness available in the second half of 1985, and in this particular finale issue of the Longshot miniseries, you can see that his art style has developed leaps and bounds from the very first issue. So this is the aftermath of the attack on Ricochet Rita's house. And so there's a little bit of catch up about what happened in the previous issue in the dialogue here between Mojo and Spiral. And of course, Spiral is very disrespectful all the time to Mojo. And yeah, so Ricochet Rita has been left there in her house pretty much catatonic while Mojo and Spiral make their way elsewhere. And in the wake of Mojo's path, birds and animals and nature itself sickens and dies. So you can see that here in this sequence of 6 tall panels in the middle of the page. I like this particular layout. I like Christy Shield's colors as well. And Mojo has a god complex, and he's determined that everyone on the planet is going to worship him, whether they like it or not, says Spiral. And Mojo says, I'm a man of simple desires. Did you know, Spiral, that worship brings me power? Oh, what would you know? You never worshipped me properly. Imagine all that love and adoration pouring in, all directed at me. So we see that grin on his face. And yeah, so that's kind of like part of the subtext and thematics of the series as a whole. What do you worship? What do you adore? It gives it power. And Mojo represents that. He's a perversion of entertainment and the worship given to objects that are not worthy of worship. Let's put it that way. He's also a psychopathic wizard as well, dimension hopping wizard. This is a really great panel here as they look down upon this sleepy town, and this is going to be their victim. Come on, Spiral, dance, says Mojo. We'll slip between time, space, and explore our new home. So they make their way invisible down onto the street, and it must be a Sunday. The boy here says, church is boring and I already feel like I'm going to puke. Do I have to kneel? Makes my knees hurt. And the father says, quiet or you'll sit through mass twice. And Daddy feels sick too all of a sudden. So it's the arrival of Mojo. He sickens anything living. to the point of death. So here they are making their observations on the humans on the street. Mojo says there, look at these creatures, such glooms, such nameless diseases, swinging arms, walking on sticks like you, dearest Spiral. Ugh, where are they going? Why aren't they paying any attention to their most holy one, Mojo? So Spiral reminds him, we're invisible, remember? You may be a genius, Mojo, but you're also an idiot. You must have pulled your brain wires too tight this morning and stopped touching me like you owned me. So he moves along, sees this cat. It spits. That's no way to speak to a holy one. Who's controlling your tongue? Picks up the cat and the cat dies instantly. Now what's it doing? How dare it die on me? Doesn't it realize who I am? Yeah, so Mojo's completely crazy. He's got zero attention span, we would say, from the vantage point 40 years later in 2025 that he's got ADHD. But in any case, let's continue. So they're there observing the humans. Spiral walks over this old woman that she trips onto the ground, and they make their way to the church. Mojo sees it with delight. Spiral, we're home. This is my royal court, and they're already come to worship me. They're probably been waiting centuries for my coming. A few minor adjustments perhaps. I don't like the colour. Perhaps a few more rooms, some lattice work. Spiral help, a million decisions, but you've no taste, especially in men. I mean, Longshot, of all the hearts to want to win, his is. And Spiral says, watch it, Mojo. What colour to paint it in? He goes back to his decorations and refurb plans. Oh, where's Major Domo when I need him? That's his PA back in the Mojo verse. So let's turn the page. So he starts using his magics on the people. A few brain twists to the right. Sot them body there. So this is kind of like Shakespearean phrasing. And it's going to pervert them and turn them into his slaves and worshippers. So they start desecrating the church and rebuilding it in Mojo's image. And Spiral says to him, Mojo, remember what happened last time? You built a tower, it weakened you. Shut up, Spiral. He exclaims, quit spoiling my fun. Now where was I? Yes, after the tower, all I need is control of the planet's airwaves. My tower will zap everyone into worshipping me. So remember, like the subtext, it's about the entertainment, media, and how entertainment is the opium of the masses rather than true religion, maybe. And also there's a little bit seated there regarding the mystery of Spiral. Why is she so interested in Longshot? Why does she want to cut out his two hearts? What's the nature of their prior relationship? Elsewhere, we're back at Ricochet Rita's home. She's kind of strung up there. She's catatonic. Her eyes that have seen too much, eyes that stare but do not see. Her dog is there, and Longshot arrives. And he sees her with her mouth open, screaming, but she's silent. And turn the page. So he asks there, what have they done? She's still alive. Are you in there? He asks her. What have they done? Lovely reader, do you know who you are? Could they have hollowed out her mind as they did mine? Because Longshot is amnesiac. He doesn't have full memories of his past, of his origins, doesn't fully know who he is or what he's supposed to be. So he frees Rita there, frozen in one position as if dead, he says, but you're still in there, I know you are. Who could have hurt my Ricochet, he asks. You scream, but is it possible to scream till there's no more sound? So he's determined to heal her, and he uses his, first of all, he sees her eye look towards the dog. There's her dog. Maybe he can get through to her. Wake up, saxophone, that's his name. Rita needs you. So let's see what state Mojo has left the dog in. Its head is twisted on backwards. So it's all a horror. Something so wrong here, so very wrong, says Longshot. Feels like the world is turning inside out. How can anything exist when there are beings of such cruelty? So now finally he uses his empath power to read her and what has happened to her in the past. So he sees these events from the previous issue where she was bound to the mast of this galley that Mojo was sailing through different dimensions. She sees too much. She retreats. He won't let her die, so she heads back the other way to the beginning, back to an infant, to the womb. So she regresses to protect herself from what she's seeing on this crazy transdimensional voyage. And he also sees Mojo ranting. "So, you won't take me to Longshot, you soft thing, you blight," he exclaims. "My touch leaves scars, you sod. I'll black out your eyes and scrape out your mind. And if I leave you bound on that prow long enough, it will absorb you. You'll become the new eyes of my ship. Petrified eyes." So Longshot snaps out of the empathetic tuning into Rita's traumatic memories, and he realizes he did it to her. It must be the one Doctor Strange and Quark spoke of, but he wanted me. I did this to her. So this is the first time Longshot has seen Mojo, so far as he knows, and then he hears something snap, and it's Quark and Doctor Strange. So they arrive, and Mojo asks Doctor Strange regarding Rita, is she? And Strange says, severe psychic and physical shock. Whatever traumatized her, paralyzed her, bound her body and soul. This entity is an anti-nature force. The evidence outside, the red rains, the black lightning, the negative ion winds, all natural phenomena, is either warped or destroyed. We found a bird outside. She must have had a pet parrot. It can barely open its eyes now as to what he's done to her. So he doesn't finish that. He says he'll take her back to his sanctum, cloak her in protective stasis field while we search for her. But Longshot says no, heal her. And so Strange thinks to himself, intuition is far from a precise science yet, and yet if I listen to mine now, perhaps I should let Longshot lead the way in this one. My healing Rita may be the key. So he agrees. Again, we get this layout where we have tall, thin panels in the middle of the page. Interesting, from Arthur Adams. And then there's a TV half functioning, and there's a news report coming through about a religious cathedral, bizarre architecture. Strange sees it, and that image on the screen, that structure. So Quark and Longshot, they look very small there, perspective-wise, compared to Doctor Strange. Something's gone wrong in that panel. They're on their way off to find Mojo. And Strange thinks to himself, quite a difference of spirit in those two. A headlong positive spirit, that's Longshot of course, and a die-hard negative one, Quark. Perhaps the combination will create an effective force. This is one of those moments when the world seems to pause at a precipice of fate. Which way will it fall? Time for one of your miracles, Longshot. My mind tells me to seek out Mojo and destroy him, but some other voice tells me to wait. That's his intuition. Let this unfold in a more fated manner. For the sake of the cosmos, I hope it's not ill-fated to trust a Longshot. Okay, so we continue. So Longshot and Quark, they've disguised themselves as best they can. The news reports are coming through about some strange religious revival. These gentle, God-fearing folk have pooled their energy to build a new church, says the news reporter. Strange thing is, the architecture is so bizarre. It looks otherworldly. There are also reports of a new god. So they race to the town and the structure in order to take on Mojo. And en route, this is a nicely drawn page as well, they have a philosophical discussion about about Longshot's past, and Longshot is asking Quark, you were in the underground, pretended to be one of the guys who were hunting me, then you decided to save me, why? Quark says, that was before I realised how hopeless it all is. We'll lose, then they'll just gut our minds or kill our families or sell us to a wizard quack for experiments. And Longshot there still wondering about his past. Did I have a family? I want to know. All I have left are the vague ghost images of a past. Still, it's better than nothing. And Quark says, wish they'd wiped my mind. A life not worth living is better forgotten. Yeah, so they have these two different spirits. This human jogger runs into Quark, starts screaming at his bestial appearance. And Quark just says there he's getting used to people being frightened by his appearance. So this is an interesting couple of pages here in terms of the art. Definitely Arthur Adams using photo reference for the cows and sheep and the ram there as well. Interesting looking work here. So their discussion continues. Longshot says to Quark, we're the lucky ones. If we keep our motives pure and our hearts honest, we'll win. We'll save both dimensions, we will. We've no time for cowardice. Quark replies, no, Longshot, since coming here I've lost faith. I don't believe in luck anymore, it's got a flip side. Longshot asks why? We hooked into this luck force to help the rebellion, but I think that's just what they wanted. They knew the luck would turn on us. I feel set up. Longshot says, you moan and complain, Quark, but you keep fighting despite yourself. And he says, yeah, well, maybe I'll get lucky and die trying. So he's there worried about what a freak he is. He sees his reflection in the ram in the field, and he concludes that he's a dumb beast, an animal, a slouching, lazy, sloppy, lowly. You saw that guy who looked at my face and screamed, part of me doesn't want to save these people. I hate this planet. I'm just an animal here. And then they're interrupted by the arrival of Mojo. That's right, he yells, genetically engineered in the image of a beast. I did it. It was me. You're mine. The two lowly slaves that ran away on man legs. I'd forgotten you, and here you drop in my lap of laps. I'll clot you burnt, batter and sleaze, give you a taste of the touch Ricochet loved. Bless her heart, burn, char her soul. Great upshot there of Mojo with the jets propelling him through the air. So he lands, spirals with him, and Longshot leaps to attack Mojo. Springs past Spiral. Interesting use of the DeLuca effect there. He's aiming that sword right at Mojo. Mojo there, comically protesting that he does so hate violence. I could die from it, he says. My death is this the face of death before me? So he's like a ham actor. Funny, you don't look like I pictured you. And Longshot is hesitating. He's thinking to himself, I thought I hated him enough to kill him, but now up close I can't do it. So he punches Longshot in the jaw, or Mojo in the jaw instead. Spiral comes back to Mojo and they depart. And Spiral is there reminding Mojo that he's promised her Longshot. Not yet, back to our power base, Spiral. And Quark says to Longshot, we failed. If you can't kill Mojo, you doom this whole planet. So they're gone. So Longshot turns on Quark and says, isn't that what you want? You heard them. This was our chance. They were away from their power and you don't even know whose side you're on. So Quark is there wondering whether he's a coward. He's there again. I'm a beast. Beasts have no spirit. And I guess I don't trust that luck stuff. It scares me. You use it and you shift luck away from somewhere else. Someone somewhere gets hurt. Longshot puts his hat back on his head and says, well, something stopped me from killing Mojo. I'll have to get rid of him some other way. It's my fault Mojo and Spiral are here, but I have no right to kill them. I can only banish them back to where they came from. So off they go running again, but first a phone call to Doctor Strange. And here we get to see Doctor Strange's house in Greenwich Village. And he's there trying to help heal Ricochet Rita. And the phone goes. And so there's a comic bit here about the collect call from Mr. Longshot. Will you accept? So yes. And Longshot says to Doctor Strange, we found Mojo and Spiral. She said that he's building a tower to attract worshippers. And while he does it, his power is in the building. So Strange figures he's extending his metaphysical superstructure. He will be weak until it attracts more worshippers. And Longshot says, yeah, what if we attack the building, break it down? Wouldn't that weaken him? I want to try. So Rita hears Longshot on the phone and she begins to wake up and cry. And Longshot asks Doctor Strange, is she? And Doctor Strange says, she'll be fine now. Time is of the essence. Get started. I'll join you soon. So Doctor Strange is going to be coming to the rescue. We can figure that much out. Here we get a look at this tower that Mojo's building. Got these statues of himself, his face there over the doorway. And Spiral says to the slaves, move it, keep working. On your knees, true believers, says Mojo. Spiral, darling, how goes the front facade? So, of course, this is interesting because true believers is one of Stan Lee's catchphrases. So I'm just wondering if there's a cheeky little tilt at Stan Lee there. But in any case, how's the facade going? Dull, she says. And Mojo sees, they worship me so. They wish only to please me. Sure, she says to him, once you spike the air to bend them to your will. So he says to her, stop spoiling my fun, you sick chick, how'd I hook up with you anyway? So he's got zero memory. What's this? They sculpt my face in stone, they ridicule my image, how dare they? He's so changeable, so he kills the slave worshippers, and he says, what a pretty sunset, how lovely the colours that caress this planet. I own that sun, don't I? Spiral replies, sure, Mojo. Yes, yes, he exclaims, I own the sun. I must have it brought down closer so it shines only on my shrine. Okay, right away, boss, says Spiral. I'll yank the sun out of the sky for you. Goody, he responds. I'll be atop the tower pontificating if you need me. So this is just wacky, crazy stuff. This is bananas. But in any case, back to Longshot and Quark. Quark here putting together a whole load of Molotov cocktails. Longshot picked up this glider at Ricochet Rita's apartment. They've built this catapult as well for the Molotov cocktails. And they're going to bomb Mojo's tower there, which we can see. And so another debate between them. And Longshot here says, I don't know who deserves to die. I dragged everyone through the portal and into this mess. Look what it did to you. Your body's stuck between dimensions. I ruined you. Do I deserve to die? I'll set the last catapult into the woods. When you see me flying, send off our invisible army. So those are the bombs. And Quark says, I'll be ready. Today's a fine day to do it now that I know what I am. Because if we win today, Longshot, and you save these people, they'll put me in a pen with the animals. I'd rather die. So Longshot here passes by a field with a white horse in it. And that sparks a memory for him. He can feel being pulled towards his past. And he remembers this interview with his creator, Arise. And Arise there is talking about how he always wanted to be tall. And so he built these legs, but they're fake legs. I am short, but my head's in the clouds. And then he comes out with an existentialist principle. Existence precedes essence. Stop living like a slave and you no longer are one. You aren't robots created in a lab. You're real. Get that message across to my people and you'll see a rebellion. It will be as if you've raised the dead. And now I have a gift for you. So what's the gift? Why did the horse spark a memory for Longshot? Turn the page. So Arise created this horse, this stallion for Longshot. So Longshot gets up on it to lead the rebellion. So I'm not a slave, he thinks to himself. I knew that. Only there's thousands like me who still believe they are. If they could see this planet full of beings just like most of us, only the people here are free, they rule. Arise said I'd find a way. I guess I have. I'll go back to my dimension and bring all my people here. Mojo, he must be one of the oppressors. Maybe I should have killed him after all. There he is, mostly in darkness, thinking that dark thought. Meanwhile, Mojo's atop the tower there. He's talking with Spiral. He's all confused and crazy. And then Spiral spots Longshot with the glider. He's grown wings, exclaims Mojo. He's after my son. Stop him. And so down rain the Molotov cocktails, take out the antennae on the top of the tower. And Mojo thinks it's a whole army. Quark here is blasting away with a machine gun. And the catapult goes off with all the Molotov cocktails as well. Where do you get an army? Exclaims Mojo. He's stolen my worshippers. I'll turn them all inside out. Another great page here. Should I destroy everyone? Let's run that way, he says. They'll never find us. And Spiral says, Mojo, behave. Remember what you promised I could do to Longshot. Yes, he says. The hearts of a slave are very tasty. So she wants to eat his hearts. Now, who's this woman? Just a random woman there. But Nocenti can't refrain from giving her a thought balloon. Good lord, he's fatter than my Uncle Ralph, who ate himself to death. So, okay. So Mojo here tells Spiral to shift in time and surprise someone. So off she goes. Longshot here on the glider still. He's wondering about whether he can destroy Mojo without killing him. I hope I get lucky now, he says, as he swings down onto Mojo's fat belly. Meanwhile, Spiral teleports out right behind Quark, and she slices his head off there. Great sequence, great action sequences on this particular page. Really like this too, like the 6-panel grid. And also, I always point this out when I see an artist do it, the borderless panel here, just to vary the layout. So Quark here says to Spiral, you forgot I'm neither here nor there, which means I can be anywhere. So slicing his head off doesn't kill him, and he manifests from his head right in front of Mojo there to back up Longshot against Mojo, but Spiral teleports in, and Longshot stops her blade, catches it with both his hands. He says, he's asking her, did something go on between us in the past? I think yes, he says, but for my sake, I hope not, Spiral. To know you is to be degraded. That's a good line. So again, the same layout on this page. Also the same panel, the 5th one without a border. That's interesting. And Longshot here is getting determined. Now let's sort this out before someone dies. But Mojo knocks him on the head from behind and fries them with his magics. Spiral gets ready to take out Longshot's hearts, but she's shot in the elbow from behind by none other than Ricochet Rita, who's fully recovered. She's got her parrot there on her shoulder. Doctor Strange arriving too. And Doctor sends a spell right at Mojo. Remember, Mojo is a kind of a magical being as well. So you need someone like Doctor Strange in order to take him out. So we have this reunion here between Longshot and Rita. You bounce back so fast, he says to her, hey, they don't call me Ricochet for nothing. Yeah, and you saved me. I was supposed to save you. So of course, Nocenti here subverting the usual male hero saves the damsel in distress. So subverting the paradigms. And she says, it's okay, it's your turn now. So he gets to be a hero. I'm ready, he says. Doctor Strange is buying him time. Longshot, this creature is an anti-life force, he says. He's turning nature inside out. If he stays on Earth long enough, the planet can only die. Yet he seems too powerful to kill on Earth. So Longshot understands. I know what to do. Too late for you, Fatso. I know all your secrets. So that catches Mojo by surprise. Secrets, what secrets? And Strange gets it. He gets what Longshot's plan is. Good thinking. He's going to turn the screws on Mojo's psychosis. Distract him, leaving me free to weave my spell. So Strange is working on a spell there. Longshot is dodging Mojo's blasts. He's rattled him. And Longshot thinks to himself, feet don't fail me now. So what's he up to? Turn the page. Strikes Mojo in the face again. Little fat boys shouldn't hang out so close to the edge, he says, of an interdimensional portal. So Mojo's knocked into the portal that Strange has created with his spell. He went over the edge. So Strange says, stay back, Longshot. I must shut the portal door. Mojo's falling through the portal. He cries out to Spiral to help him. Spiral, I'll fix your arms. I'll build you your own Longshot to play with. So Spiral throws some dirt in Ricochet Rita's face, and she jumps into the portal after Mojo. And Longshot goes in. Goodbye, everyone. He yells, I must go after them. And Ricochet Rita says, no, you'll get lost. You'll die. You'll never be back. So what's she going to do? Longshot turns around. Love the magenta on this page. He says, I have to go. With Spiral with him, Mojo won't be lost anymore. He'll return to my world and may even try to come back here. I'm ready now to kill him. Then I must gather my people, raise them from the dead, and bring them to this planet where they can be free. So Quark says he'll join him. Rita wants to go too. She says, make room for me, guys. I'm coming too. Longshot says you'd never survive. I'm Ricochet. She insists. She always survives. Besides, don't you need proof for your people? Longshot's concerned about her, but the trauma of the time-space jaunt could. And she insists, but nothing. I'll shut my eyes this time. I'm living proof that a race of man exists. So off they go. You sure you're ready? You'll be risking everything, Longshot asks her. That's what makes it fun. Yeah, he says, and they walk into the portal hand in hand. And Longshot calls back to Doctor Strange. Thanks for sending me home. See you when I come back with my people. And then the portal closes. So, Strange has some things to muse on now. His people, he says. How amusing, a whole race of Longshots. Could this planet handle it? It could spark quite the renaissance. But somehow I don't believe there's more than one Longshot in the universe. I suspect Longshot will make his own world worth living in with Rita at his side, and will have no need of this one. There's much to contemplate, but he has to help the people of the town with their wounds, their psychic wounds, repair the damages. The parrot's okay. This planet is strong, says Doctor Strange. And nature's a fearsome protector, and yet at the same time this orb is quite vulnerable. Moments like these, I truly understand our frailty. One instant, the world is at peace. The next, a being like Mojo reverses the course of nature and almost destroys us. It could happen again any second, but for now the flowers bloom again. The natural world will not be destroyed after all, and perhaps another world is about to be saved. And there we have this ghost image of Quark and Longshot and Ricochet Rita looking heroic. And there you go. That is the end of the Longshot miniseries, 6 issues. And over the course of it, you could see Arthur Adams, especially on this final page, coming on leaps and bounds as an artist and becoming, in the second half of the 80s, one of the most influential of artists, particularly on the coming generation of 90s artists. So I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on the giant-sized finale, last issue of the Longshot miniseries. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section. Was this something you picked up way back in 1985? What are your thoughts on it now, 4 decades later? And if you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like and share the video. It really does help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.